Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're a fan of 40k and you haven't been living under a rock for the last few months, you'll have noticed that the orcs have been receiving some love in the form of a range refresh. Now, the orc faction is one that was really left to dwindle and didn't receive much care or attention from Games Workshop for a number of years there, while other ranges were refreshed and new ranges such as Genestealer Cult and Adeptus Sororitas came out. And so the orcs were looking pretty shabby and in need of a refresh. And then sort of about 4 or 5 years ago, Games Workshop started that process with a range of new models. And these were mainly sort of one-off releases or just a few kits here or there. I think, we had the new Gazkul model, which is a great model. And we've had several Kill Team releases, such as Commandos, Breaker Boys, Tank Busters, etc. So we've had those. We had the Beast Snagger Boys and the Beast Snagger Boss, and there was a kill rig with that. And then we've had quite a few of the characters refreshed as well, such as Snickrot, Mozrog, Wazdaka very recently, Zogrod, and as I say, Gazkul himself. So there's been quite a lot of kits, but it is a big range. And there's still so much in the range that needs refreshing or could be added to it. And Games Workshop are continuing this process now with 11th edition. So recently we've seen the Push Fit Boys kit that came with the launch box, and new Pain Boy and Weird Boy and War Boss, which is all great. But we've also seen some new kits as well. So the War Track and the Big Mech Decker Rig. I mean, any Orc fan would be really happy so far with what's coming, but now we're seeing with the first codex of 11th edition dropping and it being the Orc Codex, we're seeing even more kits coming out now. And these are the ones that you can see on the screen in front of you now. So we have another new character model. Finally, we're getting Nazdreg, the leader of the Bad Moon clan, and refreshed war bikes, yet another boys kit, but this time the multi-part kit, and the first big vehicle refresh really, which is the trucks. So I did actually record a video going through all the unboxing and showing you all the instructions and all the sprues, etc. But it took ages to do it, and it was probably pretty boring for anybody as well. So what I'm going to do now is just I've built all the kits, so I'm just going to show you the final kits as they are built. The kits that really have extra bits involved and variation to what you get on the sprue are the bikes and the trucks and the boys. And as I bought several kits of each of those, I pretty much used all the bits. So by just showing you all of these kits put together, then you'll pretty much get a good sense of all of the bits that you get with these kits and the level of customization and variation in each kit. So have a look, and hopefully this will be useful and give you a good sense of whether you want to get involved and buy these new Orc kits. So let's start with the big boy. We'll start with Nazdreg. I'll try and capture some of the detail here with the camera. This is Nazdreg, and he is a pretty beefy boy. What can we say about him? He is the leader of the Bad Moons. There's not too much Bad Moon or Moon iconography on him. He has this sort of cape here. The main thing is the banner, of course, on the back, and you can see that there's an actual moon on the front of it there. But that is Nazdreg. And to give you an idea of the scale of him, here is just a normal boy. So he's absolutely towering over a normal Orc boy. And to compare him against the biggest Orc of them all, Gazkul, that is the size difference. So he's nowhere near the size of Gazkul. He's quite obviously his junior, but still quite a chunky boy. Right, so that is Nazdreg. Great model though, really like him. I will show you the new mech next, who is a very little model, really, just the size of a normal boy. Not many pieces to the kit, just goes together very easily, as I sort of showed with the instructions. I've just blue tacked him onto the base to make the painting a bit easier. But he's fun. I mean, he's not overly detailed. He's just a cool little character. What's that you got in his mouth? Like a cigar or something he's chewing on. He's got his goggles, probably his welding goggles and stuff. So that's him. Very nice. Next we will go with the War Boss, and this is an awesome kit. I only bought one of them, so I can only build one version. So I went with the one with the top knot and the kind of the horn, the skull and the horns on the banner. But he is great. Again, very detailed. The banner's just blank, but you can put all different glyphs on and customise into whatever your warband will be. You can see he's got his very aggressive looking squig chained to his waist there. To give you an impression of his size, he is a pretty chunky boy. Let's put him next to Nazdrag. And Nazdrag's not that much taller. So there's not that much in it, really. I mean, Nazdrag's obviously standing on a tactical rock. Well, they both are, really. And he's got the heavy sort of mech armour. But they're still fairly comparable. And he comes with a little fun Gretchen as well. Carrying a gun there. He's quite a fun little character. Seems quite dedicated to his job. Okay, next I will show you the trucks, I think. So I built 2 trucks. Now, again, these aren't fully glued because it's going to make painting a lot easier if I leave the grill off, for example, and stuff. So I'll show you the first one. It comes in a variety of different. Well, if I put them next to each other like this, you can see. So I haven't glued on the arms, for example, of the. So let's just take them off for a second. It's just going to be easy if I can then put them next to each other. And you can see one's leaning that way, one's leaning that way. And you can see the difference in the grills and the engine blocks and the exhaust and things like that. I've also built this little gun emplacement on the different sides of the trucks. And you see the little Gretchen hanging off there as well. Very funny. With these goggles on. This one I've built with a missile launcher. And this one I've built with. I'd never work on QVC or something, could I? I'm not doing a very good job here. But as I say, I haven't glued these on because it's just going to be so much easier to paint when they're off. But what you would do is glue that onto there. It's just like a big shooter type weapon. These panels come down, so you don't glue them, they just come down. And you have the flag in the back, and then you have a choice of arms. You either have this saw, and the little chap working it, and you just glue it anywhere in the middle here, so it's overhanging, but out of the way of the other guy. So I'll do that once it is painted, and the other one is a claw. Same guy, but you do get different heads, so all 3 of these guys have different heads. The one thing I'm really worried about is how the hell I'm going to paint the dude that's driving it, because he's got this sort of roll bar over the top of his head. But I mean, it took a little while to build, but wasn't a difficult kit. There's a few little options to make them look different as I'm showing you. These wiggle around because I don't know whether the camera will pick it up, but maybe if I just slightly refocus. Once you've chosen this front axle, it puts the truck on a certain angle, and then the back wheels will follow that. They will angle themselves so that the truck is flat even though you are at an angle like this. Don't know whether I've explained that very well at all, but you will soon see if you build one yourself. So those are the trucks. Those are the biggest models really of the new range. Yeah, but they're very nice kits. Anyway, the next models I will show you are the bikes. So I bought 2 boxes of the bikes, so I've got 6 here. And again, I've just blue tacked them on, so they're sort of falling all over the place, but I'll try and show you. If I show you them lined up like this, hopefully you'll be able to see that they look reasonably different to each other. I might have to come out slightly here to get them all in. Hopefully you'll be able to pick up on that they are sort of in different poses, obviously different heads, and sort of slightly different setup in terms of this front panel here. There's one duplication. These two have got the same front panel, but you know, looking at the squad, they do look like 6 individual riders. So, which is what you want. You don't want everything in your army looking the same. So this is the knob on the bike. When he's glued, he'll be in this sort of wheelie position here. I'll come back down again. Try and zoom in. So he'll be in like a bit of a wheelie position like this. And he's got a grot hanging off the back, shooting, quite funny. Got massive exhausts, like a big twin exhaust that you can see there on the back. And I built him with the chain axe there. And he's just sort of yelling. And he's got missiles, like a rocket launcher as well on his side guns there. So that is him. Very cool. And then the other 5 are very similar. Like a sort of a smaller, less ornate version. They have one exhaust, which is a small exhaust on the back there. You can build on either side. You have a different front part here, and a different panel on the front, even different handlebars, even though you probably can't see that any difference like this unpainted. So you got this guy just grabbing the handlebars. Sort of when he is actually glued, he will be on an angle, tilting on an angle like that. And then you've got this one, which is the same bike but with different details. So the front's different, the sort of spoke bits here different. He is about to hurl this. It's like a mace, but it's like literally just cogs on a chain. But yeah, cool, very cool. And then the rest. So here you have to. Bloody hell, I wish I had actually fucking glued these now, because the blue tack is not doing the job. So these 2 are the same model. They're on the same angle, but again, I've just managed to make them a little different because of the weapon in this guy's hand and the different, front panel with the bike. So and the different heads, obviously, and stuff. So so they don't look, absolutely identical. And then the last one. He has a very different front panel again, and I've given him an axe, and that's it. And this is about the level of customization you've got, or not customization. I should say this is about the level of options that you have in the kit. I've used almost every piece that you get in the kit there, so more than 6 bikes, you're possibly going to have to just raid the bits box and stick different options on. I will now just show you the new boys kit. So I built 20 boys, so that's 2 kits, and it allows me to show you a bit of the variety. So here are 2 knobs, And this is obviously the same model, but with the two different options. And you can see that there's quite a lot of options. Obviously he has a big two-handed axe, whereas he has like a shooter and a big claw, different heads, different banners. So even though they're standing on the same tactical rock with the same pose, they do look very different. And just to give you an idea, this is the boss, the knob rather, that was in the Armageddon launch box. So it just gives you an idea of the sort of the quality between the push fit and the multi-part kit. And to be honest, there isn't a lot in it, is there really? I mean, it's still a very detailed kit, the push fit. So either way, they're both going to look pretty good in your army. And in terms of the actual boys themselves, so you get the boss, and then so there's 9 left. 3 of them you're going to potentially make as these special weapon orcs, which leaves 6 that you can just mix and match. You can put any of the arms onto any of those 6 boys, but with the special weapons you can only put them on one of the orc models in the box, and it's the same one for every box. So with the special weapons, you've got a lot less options to make them look distinct from each other, because it is exactly the same model. So you could put maybe a shoulder pad on, like I've done with this guy, and then you've got different heads, and then there are like different accessories I haven't added yet, but there are like different accessories that you can get in the box as well and put on, so like little pouches and grenades and things. But you don't have the same sort of options as you do just with the standard boys. And again, exactly the same orc, same pose. Again, I've put a shoulder pad on and different heads, but this is essentially the same model, because he's the rocket launcher orc, and this is the guy with looks like a big sort of auto cannon. And again, it's just the same model, but this is the only orc body that you can build this gun onto, and the same with the other special weapons. Now the others, as I say, you can just completely mix and match, so it's a lot easier to make them look different. So I'll try and find the duplicate poses here. There's one on a tactical rock. So okay, so here's the tactical rock body. Now you can see that already these are completely different looking orcs, even though they are the same body, because apart from the different heads, I've put different weapon on the back to make sure that they both have ranged and melee weapons. He's got like a pistol and a grenade, I think, and he's got like a shooter. So that's absolutely fine. So even though they're exactly the same body, they are distinct from each other enough that you're not even going to notice that in the army. Let's see if I can find another couple of poses that are the same. I mean, the fact that I'm struggling to see them is actually an indication of how good. Is actually an indication of how you can differentiate between them, because I can't even find the ones that are the same here. Like I actually really can't find them. That's actually great. I'm guessing then these must be the same, judging by their legs. And again, 2 completely different orcs that you are not ever really going to think are the same on the battlefield if they're stood next to each other, even. Certainly not just randomly in the same squad. And they're all kind of like this. They're all the same sort of quality. See if I can get the 2 to compare. Yeah, again, more of the same. This is the same body, but completely different orcs, different poses, different weapons. different accessories. So yeah, so you can easily build a kit of 20 of these and have all different orcs. And then of course if you've got the Armageddon box, you've got another 20. So that's 40 boys that are going to be completely different to each other, completely unique characters. And you can put as much detail into the painting as you want to distinguish them even more. And I might as well show you the last ones. So I don't think in any of these pairs you could say that they look anything like their twin. And the last ones, just for completeness. I love his face, he's just absolutely mental. Yeah, so that's them. And then the last thing I'll do is compare with the previous kits. So, I should say as well, you get this little guy, this little Gretchen with the boys as well, just following them around. I don't know what he's got there, like an ammo pouch or something. But there's lots of cool little Gretchen characters in the range now. Quite funny. Yeah, so the last thing I'll do is compare these new boys to the two previous boys kits, one of which I've just spoken about. So that being the Armageddon push fit kit. So there we go. So the push fit one is the one on the right. And I mean, really, is there much difference? Are you gonna complain if somebody uses the push fit ones, or are you ever gonna notice which is which? I don't think so, actually. They look totally, of a piece with each other, part of the same range. No worries at all. Now, what I would say is, going back to the kit before then, which was when they did the initial refresh of the boys, which is about 4 years ago now, the kit that got a lot of complaints because you could only build them one pose each, so a lot of them didn't have dual weapons. They either had a shooter or a chopper. You can really see the difference. So it's the one on the right, and you can just see it's a different sort of plastic. It's not as detailed. The difference in the face, just nowhere near the level of detail. The pistol, it's just like blocky, no details on the pistol really. Yeah, and that is noticeable. So it's a big upgrade for 11th edition to the Orc Boys. So if you have got loads of Orc Boys from previous edition, then I'll tell you it's well worth, in my opinion, you upgrading them. And then I've got the same kit here on the right, again the older kit from 4 years ago with the special weapon, just to compare it to the new kit. Look at the level of difference in the detail there. I mean, it's just totally different. So they are now much improved. So I would thoroughly recommend picking up the new Orc Boy kit, and any of these kits. As I say, they were all fine to put together. It's just a bit time consuming when you're building so many things, but no problems at all. And now they're on the table, they just look fantastic, and the Orc range is becoming now one of the best that Games Workshop have produced for 40k. It's fantastic, so full of character. So much difference and variety in the kits and in the orcs themselves. Just a great range. Thoroughly recommend that any of you who are interested in playing orcs pick them up. So anyway, I hope that video was helpful and interesting, and if you want to see more, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, please take care.